Eastern Bartonshire Council, like every part of the public sector, is facing huge challenges, with skyrocketing inflation pushing up construction costs, energy costs and wage bills. Against that backdrop, we still have a legal obligation to agree a balanced budget. There are no easy fixes and there will be difficult decisions ahead. However, we will work with our employees, partner organisations and communities to protect our essential public services while doing all we can to mitigate the cost of living crisis.
Last year, your SNP Council brought in a £100 one-off support payment which was paid to over 3,000 eligible pensioners in December 2022. I'm pleased to say that £465,000 has been allocated in this year's budget to ensure that next winter this support will not just be repeated but improved, with one payment of £100 to be made in October and another £50 in January of 2024. Against a background of serious financial pressures, we are determined to continue delivering services that support those in our communities who are feeling those pressures most.
The SNP administration is investing £3.25 million of capital into the fabric of Lenzie Public Hall. These funds are essential to make it an accessible and safe hub for the growing Lenzie community to use and bring educational, sporting and social groups together in modern and energy efficient space. This will be a fantastic town hall run by the people and for the people of Lenzie.
I welcome the SNP administration's budget decisions, protecting our vital public services and investing in projects to help with the cost of living crisis and also in our plan to move towards net zero.
We recognise the really important contribution that community groups, voluntary sector organisations and churches make in supporting local people facing hardship due to the cost of living crisis. That's why we've added £100,000 to Eastern Bartonshire Council's community grant scheme. We will also review the grant scheme to make it easier for local groups to access grants. We will increase funding opportunities and make the application process simpler and more accessible.
As part of our goal to improve our footways and roads, we are investing an additional £1 million this year in our budget to help us achieve this.
During 2022, £81,000 worth of grants was issued to council tenants as part of the new hardship fund. We have allocated £100,000 to finance the third year of this initiative to help support council tenants who are facing financial hardship.
The biggest concern for my constituents at the moment is, of course, the Tory cost of living crisis. So I'm really pleased that SNP-led Eastern Bartonshire Council is stepping up to do what it can to help. So it's putting more money into cost of living support for advice bureaus and for food banks. There's an extension of the free gym and swim initiative, which I know is hugely popular. Warm spaces are being continued and there's further pensioner support payments and community grants too. So in short, I believe this is the right budget to help local people through difficult times, and I'm grateful to council colleagues for their initiatives.
Whilst I am sad to see the closure of the old leisure centre, I am delighted that we have a new Islander Centre opening soon with a new attached support facility created for adults with learning disabilities, replacing Kelvin Bank Resource Centre Kirkintilloch. This has been a huge investment programme by the council in the Mulgai and Bearsden area. I am also pleased that the SNP Council has managed to extend the free swim and gym scheme until the end of the next financial year. This scheme has proved to be a great success and has been welcomed by many young people and hard-pressed families in the area.
The SNP administration and Eastern Bartonshire Council are protecting services during this Tory-made cost of living crisis. The Council is providing a further £1 million to cost of living support for those struggling, an extra £10,000 to local food banks, continuing pensioner support payments and an additional £30,000 to the Warm Spaces Grant Fund. I welcome this caring and compassionate budget and commend the SNP Group for delivering for the people of Eastern Bartonshire.
To provide residents with advice and support, the Eastern Bartonshire SNP Council budget will increase funding for the Citizens Advice Bureau by £50,000. This means we'll have provided the Citizens Advice Bureau with £100,000 of extra funding in response to the Tory cost of living crisis.
In 2023-24, council tax and council rent will increase by less than half the current rate of inflation. And over the next 3 years, we will develop a locality-based model of service delivery that will aim to reduce the operating costs to provide our frontline services. Over the next year, fees and charges will remain frozen at pre-pandemic levels, and our cost of living programme will be extended with a further £1 million to put in place a range of measures to support local residents and communities. And through a refreshed capital plan, we will refocus efforts to improve local assets and deliver net zero across the council estate. The challenges cannot be overstated, but we will continue to work together to achieve the best with the people of East Dunbartonshire.